everyone doing? Hey everyone. My name is Marina. I also go by Sustainability Boss Lady. It's a true fact. I'm an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and an outdoor enthusiast. And I'm also a 1%er, a 1% of the population that is bipolar. So you guys could have a little laugh there. I laugh at it too. Tonight, I plan to talk about being an entrepreneur and living with bipolar disorder. Ironically enough, last night I had a panic attack that sent me to the ER yet again, so I guess some things never change. You see, 2 years ago, I had one of the worst panic attacks of my life that sent me into the ER. Now, I've had panic attacks every once in a while. Mainly they're anxiety attacks that happen more frequently, but this time it was different and I couldn't really shake it. My whole body begins to shut down, my ears start to ache, I start to tremble in my voice, I start to get dizzy-headed, lightheaded, even faint sometimes, get the chills, the sweats. As you could tell, it's a really great feeling to be going under. I knew something was off, and after talking to 2 telehealth doctors and my brother, forced me to go to the ER, I did. And I was there for hours. They were running all these tests and having me test out all these different medications to see how they could calm me down and to take the pain away. Long story short, it was time for me to to take charge of my mental health, since obviously something was going wrong. I decided to surrender to antidepressants. My doctor for almost a decade was trying to get me on them, so I surrendered to him. And they actually made me more suicidal. Because of that, they discovered that I was bipolar, because bipolar, you're not supposed to be on antidepressants. So that was a little fun fact to get to know. But I got fast-tracked into the UVM Seneca program that is for people with mood disorders. And I was so fortunate enough to be able to do that. And that was back in 2020, July. And on top of all that, I had a business in the event industry, so I was rebuilding my company as going into this mood disorder program. So it was a lot to handle, but it was great to finally get answers to all the stuff that was going on. And I like to say I have a cocktail of disorders, so I used to drink some lovely cocktails, but now I don't, but I have my cocktail of disorders. So it was bipolar type 2, severe anxiety disorder, shocker, I know, PTSD, and cluster symptoms of OCD and ADHD, which is common with people with bipolar. Now, you can imagine getting all this information while trying to pivot your company isn't the most ideal situation, but anyways, let's take it back to being an entrepreneur. For as long as I can remember, I've always had a business. It all started with lemonade stands and bake sales at the end of my driveway. For Christmas one year, my parents even got me a candy stand, so I was standing out there selling candy and baked goods. Sometimes I didn't bake the baked goods, but that didn't matter. As I got older, I used to rake leaves for my neighbors and also set up a babysitting business. I would go around the block and print out all of these calendars with all my availability down to the minute so that there was always an opportunity to make some money. And it worked out really well. It seemed like each spring my parents would host a garage sale, and I found it incredibly fascinating. 1, that people were interested in our junk. 2, that people would actually pay to buy our junk. I started coming up with new ways to organize the tables and to increase sales. I started having them multiple times a year, which my parents weren't too enthused about because I was selling things that they probably didn't want to be sold. I started to do market research and go to other garage sales and see what they were doing and how I could make mine better. As you can see, I got really into this garage sale fact, and it just kept on going and going year after year. And then once I got to high school, I already had been babysitting for years, had my babysitting license, so kind of a professional at that point. But I found that I liked work way more than school, but I would find myself staying up late to finish homework. And that's when I really started to see that the less sleep I got, the more energy I got, which is kind of a case of bipolar. So since I didn't need much sleep, I just started adding more things to my plate. So no big deal, right? I started getting a job cleaning hotel rooms, scooping ice cream, working as a cashier on top of my schoolwork and on top of being on the snowboard team in high school, which was pretty demanding as well. In the 10th grade is when my therapist and I think I had my first hypomania episode, and depressive one, followed by some family trauma. Now, I was undiagnosed up until 2 years ago, so you can imagine how the next decade of my life started to take play and all the ups and downs that came around. I would have all these incredibly intense spurts of energy, feeling that I was unstoppable, full of energy, full of creativity. I fell in love with whiteboards and would sneak into my college classrooms and write all over the whiteboards and brain dump and get super creative. I had this the undescribable high that I just got addicted to. So I continued to stay up later and later. I would stay up all night writing and writing. I had all these ideas that I wanted to share with the world. Then I would crash. I would crash really, really hard. I would need to ask for extensions on my projects, postpone tests. It was hard for me to get out of bed. I found myself lying on the bathroom floor a lot of the time. I felt heavy, lost, out of my body, and wondering who this person was. This pattern repeated multiple times a year. What I now learn is rapid cycling in the bipolar world, where I go from one extreme mood to the next every couple of months. Although from the outside, it looked like I was winning. I won the most awards in my college history. I started my own company when I was in college, traveled the country in my van, and even presented on TEDx. What could possibly be going wrong? Then one day, a week after my TEDx, I crashed hard. The biggest depressive episode I've ever had. So hard that I ended up moving back to Vermont in 2017. I was living out in Tahoe, where I went to college, and decided to stay there for a little bit afterwards. In 2018, I moved up to Burlington, and my rapid cycling continued until that panic attack in July 2020. I should mention that my company was in the vet industry, building zero-waste strategies. So again, trying to mix those things together was kind of hard. But anyways, it's been 2 whole years since I got diagnosed, and my company, Waste Free Earth, has pivoted into building zero-waste systems for businesses and still doing events on the side. I now own a zero-waste refill store in downtown Burlington called the Restock Shop. So come check it out. And I'm the community manager at Hula, this incredible space right here. So I'm here, I'm still standing, and yesterday was just a reminder that even though I work my ass off to be balanced and go to therapy, see a psychiatrist, and all that good stuff, that deep down, these disorders are still a part of me, and maybe I should give them more intention and own them. So that's why I'm here today. I'm owning my disorders, sharing them with you, not trying to get sympathy, but just to let you know that we're all human. So thank you for your time.